In this video, we are talking about people with intellectual disabilities and what this actually means. It is really common for people to have negative beliefs about people who have an intellectual disability. That is because sometimes things that are different confuse us, and they might even scare us. We might think that people who have a disability are weird, scary, or an easy target for bullying because you think they look funny. But this is not the case. In fact, people with an intellectual disability are just like all other people. We all have likes and dislikes, feelings and lives. This is a right for all people, including those with a disability. It is important to know that not all people with an intellectual disability look the same. They all look different and unique, just like we all do. Some may talk, some may not. Some may be using a wheelchair, some can walk. They might have glasses or brown hair, or be a baby or a teenager. They could be anyone. In Australia, 2.9% of all people have an intellectual disability. This means if you get a group of about 100 people, then almost 3 of them would have an intellectual disability. It is likely that when you go to the shops or when you play at a park, there will be people with intellectual disabilities quite close by. To be considered a person who has an intellectual disability, this person will experience difficulty with learning, making choices and decisions. They will have difficulty with everyday living, such as looking after themselves, communication, and joining in on activities. And this all occurs by the age of 18. An intellectual disability cannot be cured, but people with intellectual disabilities can still live happy and full lives. So how do you get an intellectual disability? Sometimes a person can get hurt and it damages their brain. This might happen even before they are born. This can happen by direct impact, such as by hitting their head in a fall, or indirectly, such as by getting a high temperature when sick or not being able to breathe. Poisons or toxins, like chemicals or alcohol, can make people really sick if it gets into their body. This can damage their brain. Some people have another disability that can lead to an intellectual disability. An example of this is autism. Not all people with autism will have an intellectual disability, but many do. Sometimes people get sick, and an infection can begin in their body, and that infection can go on into their brain. That infection can cause damage in their brain. Genetics is the information in our cells that make us who we are. These instructions or information can look different in some people, and this difference can cause their disability. An intellectual disability might happen when a person does not or cannot get the right foods into their bodies. Sometimes we don't know why a person has a disability. It might be a lot of the reasons listed, or we might not be able to tell which one that it is. Have you ever met a person with a disability and you weren't quite sure how to treat them? It is important to treat people with disabilities the same way you treat everybody else. People with disabilities have interests and likes and dislikes just like you. Make sure that you talk about these instead of just talking about their disability. Some people with an intellectual disability do things different to you, such as talking using a device or computer, or using a wheelchair to move around. These are not toys for us to play with. Also, we should be patient, because what they say or what they do is just as important as what you do. Do not guess that a person with an intellectual disability cannot do something. It might just take them a little bit longer. Do not jump in and take over. Make sure that you ask the person if they do need help. So, there are nearly 3 out of 100 people that have an intellectual disability in Australia. People with intellectual disabilities are just like any other person. They just might do things a little differently, or it might take them more time.
Created using Powtoon.